Welcome, neighbors, to the Huntington Matters candidate interviews for the 2026 primary election. I am June Margolin, president of Huntington Matters, and joining me off camera is our vice president, Dana Richter, who is filming, and our director, Diane Shaber, who's monitoring the audio in the next room. Our goal is to help you get to know your choices on the ballot so that you can vote with confidence for what's best for you and your family. The people elected to Congress make decisions that affect the cost of healthcare and prescription drugs, Social Security and Medicare, veterans benefits, immigration policy, housing affordability, taxes, public safety, and federal funding that supports Long Island infrastructure, environmental protection, transportation projects, and local services. These decisions impact our families, our businesses, and our entire community and our daily lives. This primary election is June 23rd, and it's for registered Democratic and registered Republican voters only. The Democratic voters will cast ballots for U.S. Congress in the 1st and 3rd congressional districts, which is the entire town of Huntington. So every neighbor who's a registered Democrat, you have a choice on your ballot. Let me see. The Republican votes are only for the Republican voters will only cast ballots for the U.S. Congress in the 3rd congressional district, which is the western part of Huntington. So keep an eye on that. And early voting has already begun. It began June 13th, and it goes until June 21st with primary election day, June 23rd. Details on all of this is at the huntingtonmatters.com community calendar, including a voter lookup so you can see who's on your ballot, and then you can watch our interviews with them. So Huntington Matters does not endorse any candidates for political office. Our goal is to provide this information so voters can make informed decisions for your families. Today, we are joined by Chris Gallant, who is a candidate for U.S. Congress in the 1st District for the Democratic Party, right? Thank you so much for being here, Chris.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
That's awesome. So we're going to jump right in. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you decided to run for U.S. Congress to represent our community?
Sure. Well, a little bit about myself. I joined the military at 17 years old. At that point, watched 9/11 happen. I was in middle school, and several years later, we decided to invade Iraq and decided that it was my duty to serve my country. So I put on the uniform, got in the military in 2006. I deployed in 2012 to Kuwait, where I was an air traffic controller.
Wow.
And then later on, I decided to become a Black Hawk helicopter pilot. I am now a Chief Warrant Officer 2, about to be a 3, hopefully very soon. And I currently fly Black Hawks over at MacArthur, and deployed again 22 to 23 flying missions, essentially through Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and UAE. So it was a really good deployment. I learned a lot. Locally here, I've been I actually worked with the Secret Service after the Trump assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Flying missions up and down the eastern seaboard.
And that was in your military capacity?
Correct. As a military. And then one of the bigger missions that I had here locally that we all remember was the COVID mission. So I was a safety officer for the Unified Command at the Javits Center.
Wow.
We effectively raised the largest field hospital in modern history, 4,400 beds, over 1,000 workers. In about a month and a half to 2 months, we saw about 1,095 patients.
Wow.
Which was 3 times more than the next 3 hospitals combined.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty incredible feat. Worked with every 3-letter agency you could possibly imagine. At that time, there was more 3-letter agencies I didn't know existed until this. So it was a very interesting time. And then locally here too, we recently had the correctional officer strike, where we were activated for that and happened to be on active duty at that time. And we had the fire that happened over at Kabretsky. So I was fortunate enough to be able to put water buckets on that and really actually save probably tens of thousands of acres. We turned that fire around. So that's been a military career, something that I love to do still.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support. I appreciate that. So civilian side, I was a FAA air traffic controller. I was a union president at Northeast Philadelphia and Republic in Farmingdale. And then my final facility was at JFK Tower. I still am a union member. I believe very strongly in that union. We run a national disaster response committee, essentially helping controllers get back to work so we can reopen airspace in times of need. I'm also a volunteer firefighter. I've been doing that since about 16.
Which department?
I'm currently in Copeg Fire Department. I've been there for about 8 years or so. I love it. Just to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning when the call goes off, and I'm very tired the next day, but it's okay. It's worth every second of it.
Yeah.
It's serving my community, and I really appreciate that. And then I'm also the junior vice commander of my local VFW in Anderville.
Okay.
And
That's
so,
great. They need young.
Yes,
soldiers.
yeah.
They really
I dropped
do.
the average age in the VFW quite some.
Yeah.
We
No,
try to get some
that's
younger
good.
guys involved. I mean, I really tell people who have been members during time of war to really join their VFW because it is a great resource. And
Yeah.
our veterans need all the help that they can get.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
so it's something that I really love to do,
Mhm.
to be part of the community and give back. So I decided to run because I think we look at the approval rating of Congress right now, and it's at its lowest ever.
Mm.
I feel that we represent the name of representative. It's in its name. You're supposed to represent your constituents.
Mhm.
And so I feel when I talk to people across the district all the time, they're telling me that they feel their voices aren't heard. They have nobody to go to, nobody to talk to.
Mhm.
And so I want to change that. I'm not a politician. I never was. I was never voted in for anything other than my local union presidency,
Okay.
which is small, but
significant.
yeah.
Still.
But I just want to show up. I want to be there for people. I want people to have someone that they can actually go talk to and have conversations with, voice
That's
their
great.
concerns. And that's how I built my entire platform. Because when I first got into this race, I launched my race in August.
Mhm.
And I didn't necessarily, I mean, I had a list of things that probably were my priorities. But
Mhm.
my priorities really became developed more so from conversations. I have meet
Yeah.
and greets almost every day. I have a town hall at least once a month.
Mm.
And that is something that I plan to continue to do once I hopefully become a member of Congress.
That's awesome.
And I think that's the ultimate thing. I think that's what people really want because it's the kitchen table issues that are
Yeah.
really affecting people.
Big time. This is what we have here.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is the
exactly.
kitchen table issues. It's how are you putting food on the table? How are you taking care of your children?
Mhm.
Putting a roof over your head. And people are struggling. I mean, it's across the district. People are struggling, and it's not only
Right.
just here in Long Island. It's on Long Island. It's everywhere.
It is.
On Long Island, it's more even difficult because taxes are very high. The prices of homes are really high. $800,000 is the median household price right now. I was talking to somebody the other day who is 35,
Mhm.
trying to buy his first time home, and he goes, "It's impossible."
Yeah.
You get stuck in that. Well, you've been paying all this money on rent, so how do you get that down payment?
Yeah.
And when now your actual money that you're receiving from work is not matching what inflation is.
Yeah.
It's in moments it's impossible to get that.
Yeah.
I use the sticker shock analogy. My last deployment, I was deployed 22 to 23, and I left, and I could fill a shopping bag for shopping cart for $100, and I come back and you could barely fill a shopping bag for $100,
Mhm.
and that is true today.
Mhm.
I mean, I go to the store and I got this whole shopping bag,
Yeah.
and it's almost $100 every
Yeah.
time, and it doesn't matter
Yeah.
what you get; it's just even like little things.
Yeah.
So it's really tough out there, and people are struggling, and they want somebody to be able to listen to them and say, "Okay, I'm going to go fight for you in Congress."
Yeah.
And so that's what I want to do.
It is definitely hard at the congressional level for constituents to contact their rep. And, you have to, I don't know. It just seems we have connections, with their offices and stuff. So if we need anything, we can directly reach out. But for an average constituent, you're like submitting this form
Right.
on the website, right? And you're like, are you even going to get it? And you get then a form reply. So not that they don't see it. I have confidence that they see it, but I think that that's someplace that could be worked on.
I mean,
I don't know. Yeah.
Think about it, right? We have,
Personally.
in New York, first congressional district.
Yeah.
It's a little over 770,000 constituents. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people.
And so my goal is to open maybe more offices so that the East End can still have them. I plan to headquarter in Smithtown because Smithtown has the most densely populated area of our district. I mean, this western side. So making sure that we actually have the staffing ability so that we can respond.
Yeah.
And then again, holding those town halls in person
Yeah.
more regularly will definitely make people feel like they're being heard as well.
Yeah.
It gives them the opportunity to speak about what's bothering them or what I can do as a congressman to bring home at the end of the day and fight for. Because that's how we build, I think, our platforms.
Yeah.
Congress people who do hold town halls around the country are probably the most successful because they're actually listening.
Right.
And we're losing that. I mean, that's totally what we've lost.
Right. So if we answered this, have you run for or been elected to any political office in the past? You said no, right? Okay. And then who have you been endorsed by for this current race?
So we've actually really had a real great strength, not only locally here, but some national attention as well. So first off, locally here, I've been endorsed by every Democratic Suffolk County legislator.
Okay.
So we have their full endorsement, the whole slate, which is very incredible. I've met with all of them several times, and I lean on them a lot to find out what those local issues are to, again, build along my platform on what I can fight for. Because every area of this district is very different. I mean, the problems that occur here in Huntington are very different than the problems that are working out in Orient Point or Montauk or it's just very, Shelter Island, for instance, is such a unique area. As a matter of fact, at a town hall on Shelter Island, talking to those people about, the specific issues that they're affected by. Fire departments are huge out there. They're struggling. And then we just recently launched or announced our endorsement. I was endorsed by Pete Buttigieg. So I think that is probably one of the largest announcements of endorsements here for New York One. I can't say whether that's the record or not, but it is definitely I'm very honored to be endorsed by him. And him and I align on a lot of things, both military veterans, both LGBTQ, and we also, him being, Secretary of the Transportation and me being a part of the Department of Transportation with the FAA as an air traffic controller, we are very similar in a lot of things. So when we talked, we had a long conversation, and it was very good. We spoke about a lot of things that hopefully I might be able to do for controllers in Congress. Because I mean, air traffic controllers have the lowest staffing levels ever. And they're still.
It's almost like 911 operators.
Yes.
Right.
It's
similar too. And it's so critical to keep our whole country going. So I can totally relate to that. Can I say this? So the Democratic Party, have they backed? Are you the person for the Democratic Party?
So
how does this work?
Well, because we're in a primary, right? And so you don't want to have.
And you're District 1,
correct?
Right,
So and I believe in a primary. I think the primary is a very good tool. Not only is it a good tool that whoever would like to run and get into the primary can, but at the same time it also sharpens our skills enough so that when we do, again, I'm not a politician, so when we do actually get into the point where we start going into a general election, particularly me going against an incumbent like Nick Lalotta, he's a career politician. He's been there for a while, and he's very sharp on how he speaks and especially the debates and things like that. So this is the practice round, so to speak.
They called it the semifinals.
Semifinals. So, but at the same time, no, and I wouldn't expect the Democratic, Suffolk County Dems has not endorsed me per se.
So they haven't picked anybody. Oh, okay, great. Okay, got it.
So they like to leave it neutral. And
got it. I wasn't sure. See, I'm not fully informed on everything, so you know, and I make a lot of mistakes. So.
That's why we're here. So
we represent our community.
We do represent our community, and yes. All right. So what do you see as the biggest challenge facing Huntington and surrounding communities over the next decade, and what role should a member of Congress play in addressing it?
I mean, I always hate to say affordability because it's such an overarching problem. There are so many things that go into affordability, whether it's healthcare or housing, or now we have gas prices, which are huge issues. So affordability really is again, kitchen table issues that people are struggling. And so, we kind of briefly went over some of them, but just trying to lower the cost or increase salaries for people who deserve it, are big things. So affordability is definitely that number one overarching issue. And something that really comes close to home to me as well. I use the Northport VA. So that is a center for all veterans here on Long Island because it's the only larger hospital that is close by to the East End. And so making sure that they have the funding that they need and the resources that they need, particularly with doctors and nurses, because, COVID has really killed the workforce of nurses. There was a huge burnout from all of that. And we've just never been able to plus that up. So if we can do some kind of incentives to get more people interested in nursing and to get them to go to nursing school and actually fill in these positions around the country and here on Long Island in particular, and the Northport VA would be key to helping that. I go to the Northport VA, and if I want to go see a specialist, I can only see a specialist between 10 and 2 on a Tuesday. 95% of the people my age are working full-time. And so it's almost impossible to do that. So unless we help them and give them those resources to provide more services, it's a struggle. So hopefully I
Yeah.
can fix those issues as well.
That's very good. And I'm very glad that we finally have infrastructure investment in the
Yes.
VA because it needed so many things.
Correct.
And it's underway currently, I believe, right? The construction. That's great. All right. So we're going on to philosophy now. Political labels can mean different things to different people, but within your party, where would you place yourself ideologically, and how does that philosophy shape your priorities for Long Island and the congressional district? It's a good one, right?
I'm always asked that question.
Are you always
and
asked that
I think I
question?
laugh about it all the time. Because
Okay. This was one of
people-
our board members.
Well, I really love the question because the Democratic Party has a big tent,
Yeah.
but it's generally faction now where you have the progressives and you have moderates.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always considered myself to be a Democrat, period.
Mm-hmm.
And so
No conservatives anymore? Democrats?
I mean, sort of, not really. No,
Not really.
no,
Okay.
not really.
They're
No.
either one or the other.
I think those are the two big ones. I mean,
Okay.
sure, there's like a little bit more of each in different areas, but I would say that those are the two larger labels.
Okay.
And I never consider myself either one. I consider myself a Democrat. And again, what I'm ultimately fighting for is the people of New York 1 and the district, and working on the concerns of the district.
Mm-hmm.
And again, listening to people, meeting them where they're at.
Right.
And those are the things that I'm going to fight for. Some of my policies might be a little bit more progressive. I mean,
Okay.
I look at our children as our future. They need all the resources that they can get.
Yeah.
And so if we can find some kind of free college tuition, or maybe even make zero interest loans for them to get an education, or even help them through getting trade schools, because trade schools are something that are really hurting as well.
Yes.
The trades are really desperate for people.
Yeah.
So if we can make sure that our future is secure, I think that is really something probably is more of a progressive ideology, ideal, I guess you could say, in my regard. But those are just some of the things that, I consider myself a Democrat, and those are things I'm going to fight for.
Great. And then are there any issues where you disagree with your party? And if so, how would you handle those disagreements while representing the district? It's a good one, right?
Well, I still lean on the fact that at the end of the day, I'm going to be representing New York 1.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the issues that I'm going to fight for. Those are the issues and concerns that I'm going to bring back to Congress and DC. And so whether it is in line with the Democrats or maybe not, or maybe a little off, at the end of the day, I'm here to represent everyone, and then make those decisions based on the conversations that I have.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. Now there's a lot of affordability things through here,
course. Yeah,
as you can see, like it gets touched on in all the topics. So how do you plan to promote economic growth and job creation?
I think one of the really cool things to do would be if we can kind of fix two problems at once. Infrastructure here on Long Island is a huge concern, particularly with the way global warming is going. We have increase in storms that we have. They're getting much more severe.
Right.
So we have to make sure that Long Island is prepared for that next storm. So whether that's making sure that our beaches are prepared, or making sure that our bridges are repaired, because they're aging and they're literally falling apart. We have still a couple of dams that have been washed away in the district, or roads that have been washed away. I think on the federal side, if we can promote some kind of federal labor force that would actually help rebuild our infrastructure, not only would it put money in the hands of people and give them jobs, but we're also doing a good thing for the country as a whole by helping rebuild our infrastructure and be ready, because we are falling way behind. Yeah. Look at how fast China has increased in their trains. Just look at their trains. Now they have bullet trains across their country. And we are still using trains that are electrified but only do 75 miles an hour.
Or the diesel.
Right on the east end.
Yeah.
So those are some things that I think really would help our economy, and also at the same time help our infrastructure problem that we have.
Yeah. Very good. Okay. All right. Housing costs continue to rise across Long Island, making it difficult for seniors, veterans, young adults, working families, and others on fixed or moderate incomes to find housing that they can afford. What role should the federal government play in improving housing affordability and increasing the supply of attainable housing options? And this does not talk about the HUD formula.
Okay. I mean, so when we talk about affordable housing on the federal congressional level, making access to affordable housing is key. It's a big thing.
Mhm.
So if on the federal level, we can bring federal dollars here and put them in the hands of construction workers to actually build these federal housing is something that I would fight for. And at the same time, also making sure we hold accountable any corporations that buy up these affordable housing and then use price gouging to essentially charge people more money than they should be. Or, we've seen affordable housings get built and there's maybe a complex and there's only 3 or 4 apartments that are affordable.
Right.
Meanwhile, the rest of the
That's
apartment
the
complexes
formula,
are, or the rest of the rooms that are there being rented are $4,000 and $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
And that number just continues to rise and
Yeah.
rise and rise. I mean, you look for anything here in town. I mean, I don't think you can find a shoebox for anything less than $2,500 a month.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Clearly.
So those are issues and concerns that if I can hopefully bring more federal dollars here to build infrastructure, build more affordable housing, and try to put it closer to train stations. So if we can get affordable housing that's near train stations, would also help with transportation problems and allow people to get back and forth to New York City easier via train.
Okay. And then I don't know if you're aware, but the town of Huntington has, I believe it is among the most robust, if not the most robust, affordable housing formula requirements. So on any development that requires a zone change with housing, 20% of the units have to be adhere to the affordable housing formula. That's a lot higher. Usually it's 10.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
but
I think that
again,
really comes down to
affordable
Right.
So if you get elected and you end up down there, you have to change the name of the formula.
Yeah.
Please. That's
Yeah.
my one ask for the last 10 years.
I think that would actually be a really great,
It needs to be
really good idea because
workforce housing formula or discounted housing formula, because affordable is subjective and you make admin's lives absolute hell because no one understands that. And even though there's a lottery, they go, I still can't afford that. So, yeah.
And that really comes down to also making sure that we work with our local officials
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
I don't care whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, working across the line, you have to do it.
Yeah.
And you have to start coming back together and start working together and actually get things done, because at the end of the day, the people who are suffering, it's the American people.
Yeah.
So if you can't get things done in Congress or you can't get things done here at the local level because you can't work together, it's the people at the end of the day that are suffering from that.
So you're not all about following party line when you're down there. You're going to go by the issues, even
Correct.
if it means collaborating across the aisle.
We have to.
Right.
We have to start bridging divide. It can't be an us versus them mantra anymore. It can't be political theater behind it. I try to have my entire campaign be clear and concise, and transparency is key. And working across party lines to achieve goals that are going to help the American people at the end of the day is what's going to work for us.
Great. All right. And now this is another one from our board member. This is very specific. Do you support federal housing funding earmarked for towns and counties to help address the housing needs of seniors and veterans? This would bypass the state, because the state, once it gets to the state, we never see it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it gets distributed where they want, not where we need.
I do agree with something like this. I think that this is actually a good thing, a good plan, particularly if it's going to help our seniors
And
veterans.
Yeah.
But to start with seniors, my mom actually just got priced off Long Island, so she moved to North Carolina because the amount of money that she could have been spending on an apartment here on Long Island was, I think, $4,500 to $5,000. Where now she just built an entire 3-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms and a 2-car garage, and I think she's spending $3,100 a month.
Yep.
So,
and that's the consequence. That hurts us in every way.
Correct.
It hurts our economy. It hurts our.
So I mean, by the time you get older and you want to retire, that's why we have our older generation that is working until they're 60 or 70 years old. It's time to retire. Like, live a life that you're going to enjoy.
Yeah.
And if you're worried about how you're putting food on the table every day or how to put a roof over your head, those are the problems. And particularly our veterans, when they come home, when they're coming home from a deployment, or they've come home from being on active duty and they want to live back where they're from. Living on Long Island is almost impossible to move in here.
Yeah.
So you're either from here or
have support when you get back.
Having to move on to Long Island from being being away for a very long
Yeah.
time is really difficult.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Long Island was expanded because we provided veterans housing after.
And also our veterans, if we can
Yeah.
get money as well into building accessible housing,
Yeah,
it is really going to be very helpful and beneficial as well. One of our members in the New York Army National Guard was in a helicopter crash, and so they were able to locally get funding to help him build a home so he can get into the house, because he's not able to walk.
right.
But if we can get some federal dollars to do that as well here and bring that home to New York,
Right, and support those organizations. There is a local organization on Long Island that does that.
Yes.
I forget the name of it. Oh, they built something over on
there's a couple of them
on Huntington on Soundview.
But if I can help support those, I will do that.
That's great. All right. What should Congress do, if anything? We just talked about seniors, but okay, there's a backstory to this question.
Yeah.
Okay, this is from the community. What should Congress do, if anything, to help seniors remain financially secure in retirement and continue living independently in the communities they call home? And the actual question that this gentleman submitted to us had to do with, like, is there really desiring a way that once a senior is retired and has no kids, is there a way to get like a discount on the school taxes because they're really very high and oppressive, to help them remain in their home? That is not a U.S. Congress issue, but there are other ways that the Congress can do to help make life more affordable for seniors so they can manage all their expenses. So that's where we kind of reframe that question.
Okay. I mean, we keep bringing back to just living on Long Island is just expensive.
It is.
And we want to make sure that our seniors still can continue to live here and be with their families and not get priced off. And I think housing is the key concern.
Yeah.
I know I have a lot of friends that have been living in their houses for many, many years. And so now they're paid off, but they're coming to the point now where they have to refinance and now take out a loan on their home. And now they're paying that mortgage because now they're using that to buy groceries.
Right. That's true.
So,
or pay your taxes.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, if we can bring federal dollars here to kind of maybe help out our seniors.
Yeah.
Or even just think about senior living, because what happens when you decide that you need to go into a full-time care facility,
right?
If we can get federal dollars here to help those facilities out too, would be key. But yeah, there's a lot of different options here. I mean, I think we went over some of them.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
but there are definitely a lot of options, and I'm willing to explore. And if people have ideas and things that we can,
let's bring them in.
So that's what this is all about.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And now healthcare, we have a problem right here. I don't know if it impacts you or not, but it's impacting a lot of our community. Many Long Islanders are concerned about losing access to doctors and healthcare systems due to disputes between insurers and providers, including recent Medicaid-related contract disputes affecting major health networks. So we're talking about that Fidelis is dropping Northwell.
No, the opposite.
Northwell's
dropping.
For Northwell's dropping Fidelis. Langone is dropping Health First.
Right.
Care, strengthen provider networks, and ensure reimbursement systems support high quality care for patients, because that's the problem.
Yes. So I have a friend of mine who actually works for Northwell at a higher level, director level. As a matter of fact, he was one of the people who he actually ran the emergency department in Southside Hospital, and then he actually opened the first standalone ER in Lenox Hill Healthplex in New York City, and then wound up running the emergency departments across their entire network. So we've had some conversations about some of these issues. At the end of the day, though, they are struggling as well, because it's the insurance companies that are not allowing them to negotiate their prices appropriately. They're the ones who are giving them saying like, you have to charge this amount of money for X, Y, and Z, and then they have to overcharge in order to make it look like. It's a very complicated, convoluted system. At the end of the day, we need to make sure that the people that are utilizing these healthcare networks and utilizing these insurance companies are able to be provided by. And so we see a lot of people who are going to the doctors And I mean, it really kind of rolls back into the fact that they are still burnt out from COVID. It's still very difficult to even see a doctor. And I mean, if you go see a specialist, sometimes you've got to wait a month or 2 months just to go see a specialist. And by that time, if you're talking in the cancer realm, and now all of a sudden, now what could have been taken care of 6 to 8 weeks ago is now taking, I think it comes back to making sure that they're plussed up and getting people in those positions. But also making sure that we address the insurance providers and making sure that they can't just make their price. We have to start negotiating and using federal Congress to actually tell them you have to not negotiate prices in this manner, to keep things secure.
Yeah, because this is like making it so. Correct. Our whole community were like, and what are they all going to swap? You know, but my doctor's here, and I follow my doctor based on. I go to the network my one doctor is on.
Correct.
Like really, I seek it out. So
and,
now I'm like.
And you know, some of the things that I wanted to look for healthcare wise was making sure that Medicare covers dental, hearing, and vision.
Okay.
Because those are very easy to cover. I mean, I had dental insurance, and I was what a sham this is. Because I paid more money out of pocket, and the amount of money that they reimbursed me didn't even cover the amount of money that I paid for my insurance.
Right.
So it didn't make sense. So I just dropped dental altogether. I just paid dental out of pocket. But, but I mean, these are just basic things that we can start working towards a more secure healthcare future for our communities. And the other big thing is too, I'm looking towards a single payer system. But when I've spoken to union leaders across the district, they have told me that they have been paying into healthcare for many years. So say they've had healthcare they've been in their company for 30, 31 years, 35 years, and they've paid X amount of dollars. So what happens if, like, say, Medicare for All plan comes in, and then all of a sudden that gets all cut? My idea is to have a single payer system where every American can get healthcare, but at the same time have a employer paid option as well. And it's almost like a hybrid system, something similar to how Germany has their system.
You'll have to explain.
Expand
on this a little. It's just intriguing. I can't visualize
this
it.
is my idea anyway. And so if every American is entitled to healthcare, so you can get a healthcare system, single payer system, which is basically paid for by your taxes. Right. And so every American's entitled to free healthcare essentially. And there will be still employers that would have healthcare options that are available. And so the money that these people have been paying into their healthcare system for many years still has that option. And I think that would create the ability to, create innovation. And also would reduce drug care prices, make sure that cost of drugs are lowered. And I think those things would be something that work. And so we have on my website, we're going to have this all laid out.
Oh, good.
We are actually going to be going live with that probably today or tomorrow.
Excellent.
And it'll kind of go into more detail about those plans.
Great. So Huntington Matters was formed as a neighborhood watch primarily. So crime and public safety is very important to us. So residents have expressed concerns about gang-related crime and drug trafficking. What federal measures would be most effective in reducing the root causes of these problems?
Yes, gang-related crime here on Long Island is really a big deal. And sometimes I don't think some of our communities realize it because it really is pocketed. But I think we can bring federal dollars here to help out our police, to make sure that they have all the resources that they need to take care of. We want to make sure that we have drugs out of our schools or off our streets. Fentanyl is a huge crisis. People are dying. I've seen a lot of it working with the fire department and seeing what goes on in our communities at times too, and seeing people overdose. It is a serious concern.
Do you guys have EMS over there? That's your run by the fire department? So
we see it. There are some areas of the district that are worse off than others. But it is a really big factor.
It is, it doesn't discriminate on
it does not.
Finances,
it doesn't
race,
matter who you
community,
are.
Doesn't matter who you are. Exactly. And then kratom is a huge problem too. And that's totally over the counter right now. So we just had a symposium. We worked with the local business Mountainside.
So getting federal dollars here to assist our police, I think would be really a benefit. particularly with gangs and getting
Yeah.
drugs off our street, which is really key.
And then what federal resources would you advocate for to support local police, fire departments, EMS personnel, and emergency preparedness efforts? So that could be
Yes.
anything on any other ideas that you have.
So as a volunteer firefighter,
Mm-hmm.
we struggle to maintain volunteers, and there's some areas of the district that actually struggle more so than us.
Mm-hmm.
I use Shelter Island as an example because you can't buy a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom on Shelter Island probably for anything less than $1.4 million.
Right.
So you're losing that age gap.
Yeah.
Right. So the average age
That's
of their
true.
fire department is about 60.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And it's a small community too. So you
Correct.
don't have a ton of population.
And
to
a lot
draw
of their
from.
stuff that they do is drafting. So they actually have to go to, the Bay Area and actually pump from that rather than a fire hydrant that's located. So they're running miles of hose to actually fight fires on there. I think making sure that we can get maybe federal dollars to get more younger generation of the people interested, whether that would be to help incentivize going to school.
Okay.
Maybe like tax write-offs for school.
Yeah.
So if you join the fire department, you can get money towards college.
Mm-hmm.
It would help them, get more education. And then at the same time, it would plus up that middle ground where we were desperate. We're desperate for people that are
Yeah.
17, 18, 19, 20, 25, 30.
Yeah.
And trying to, again, reduce our overall cost of living. Oftentimes people in their 20s and 30s are trying to work 2 or 3 jobs and they don't have the time to dedicate.
Correct. As a volunteer.
Correct.
Yeah.
So-
Our mainline fire department's having the same issue. Yeah.
So if we can get some kind of incentive for that,
Yeah.
I think.
And some of them are turning to paid firefighters.
Correct.
I don't
Which
know if
is
Shelter
costing more on
Island
the
has
communities
that.
at the end of the day.
Yeah, I don't know if Shelter Island has that. That might be.
No, so our EMS has actually gone to, we have 1 full paid time crew.
Right.
Because we
A
were
whole crew, not just the
so
paramedic.
24 hours a day, we have a full paid time crew. So any first medical call is a paid, and then any second medical call
Interesting
is
way
a
to handle it.
volunteer.
Okay.
That
Because
actually
Melville
happened.
has some paid.
Yes.
Melville Fire Department. I mean,
and that's something that's starting to switch over across, around our district. They're trying to at least get something paid. But again,
because you have thousands of calls a year.
yes.
Thousands.
I think we did maybe like around 2,700 calls last year. So,
It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, so immigration, this is a huge issue, especially our local community was very visibly impacted by this and all over Long Island. So many Long Island residents support enforcing immigration laws, but there are also concerns about longtime community members being deported and legally present individuals being wrongly detained. How should Congress balance immigration enforcement with due process protections and the realities facing families who have been part of our community for many years? So, side note, the many residents support enforcing immigration laws is related to the violent criminals.
Correct.
They kind of across the board, pretty much.
No, okay,
You know what I mean? Are in full support of addressing that problem. And then the legally present means people with green cards or TPS status that are allowed to be here or are in the process that were picked up and detained.
What we have done, or what we have seen in the last several months to a year, I should say, or a little over a year now, actually. Time flies. This year has gone by so quick. It's just it's been a whirlwind. But the things that we've seen right now is that people are now afraid to leave their homes. They're afraid to go to church. They're afraid to go to school just because they look different. Yes, I believe that we should be getting criminals off of our streets, and we should be making sure that we attack the most violent of criminals. But unfortunately, that hasn't been what's happening. We've seen American citizens actually get detained, be held for days on end at times.
Right.
There hasn't been much due process to some of this. Those things are key. Like we live in a land of laws and rules. And so if we want to change those rules and laws, Congress needs to act and actually make those changes. But as it stands right now, due process is something that is required and mandated, whether you're an American citizen or not.
Correct.
And to make sure that we follow those rules is key.
Right.
our immigration problem really stems from the pathway to citizenship and actually plussing up the staff that helps with that. We see people trying to become a citizen of the United States. We are of all immigrants in one way or another, but it takes 10 years and tens of thousands of dollars.
Right.
And that's if you're lucky to do it. And now what we're seeing is that people that have been here legally and they're trying to actually get a citizenship, or maybe even kids who were brought here when they were very young, and now they're turning 18, and now they're stuck here. They don't even know where they're from before, and now you're just going to kick them out. Trying to give that generation a pathway to citizenship, because really the people that are here doing the right thing every day contribute to our communities, whether it's jobs or being able to actually pay into our economy, and they're not taking anything in return.
And the legally present people are paying taxes.
Correct.
They're like legal to work and all that stuff. And
So those are the issues that I see. What we need to do is we need to fix the pathway to citizenship, and we've been talking about immigration in this country for decades.
Yeah.
And so hopefully when we actually have a Congress that can start getting to work, then we would see maybe change here. And those are things that I would fight for to help fix this problem.
Okay. And then more broadly, what will you do specifically to improve or fix the nation's immigration system? So you're talking about pathway to citizenship for, it's.
I didn't mean to answer that question.
No, that's fine. That's totally okay. Yeah, this is a very complex situation.
It is a very complex situation.
It really is. And then
my thing is that when we see citizens, American citizens, who are afraid to walk out of their front door, that's not American.
Right.
That is what really kills me.
Right.
That really bothers me more than anything. And then you see like the inhumane conditions that are going on in some of these ICE detention centers where they're not being fed appropriately. And that would go against Geneva Convention rules of war. So those are problems that I see. So we need to make sure there's transparency around it. And it's being done the right way. And what's going on right now, I feel is not.
And the ones from our community that I'm aware of that were legally present, wrongly detained, meant that there was a presence, like the officers came and then they said, wait, no, I have this, I have that. Maybe they don't have it on them, right? That I have a green card or whatever. Then they go, okay, come with us. So you let the judge figure it out. So then that's what's happening.
Correct.
And then they're moved and then they have their due process and then they're released because they say, okay, fine, you're good. But it's, that's the biggest issue the community has.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, you're just seeing them being pulled off the street and they're not doing anything necessarily wrong. It's just because they look different. Right.
Yeah. All right. So veterans. Long Island has a very large veteran population. Are we the largest in the country?
So when I first started this race, I was under the impression that we were, and I believe that we are. But I found mixed match numbers. So I'm still trying to drill down the exact statistic. But we are one of the largest.
Yeah, we might have lost some of our older ones that settled here. Okay, so very large veteran population. What would you do to improve access to high quality healthcare? Noting exactly what you said with the nurses and the staffing. And the mental health care and support services broadly for local veterans and their families. Was there anything else you wanted to add to that? I know we discussed most of it already.
I've seen suicide rates of our veterans skyrocket. It's been steady, and we've lost more members of the military to suicide now than we have to wars. And it really is a problem. So just expanding access to that, making it more readily accessible, and having the rest of our communities understand what they might be going through. I mean, PTSD is a really serious issue.
It is.
My partner is actually currently deployed. We're actually engaged, and him and I, he's been through 5 deployments now.
Wow.
So understanding, like, going through that, having been on the front lines as a member of the Army in the infantry, it's great to be able to have those conversations. Both of us having deployments, so it's kind of unique for us. But we're sounding boards for each other, and we make those easier. But not everybody has that.
Right. You don't necessarily have a partner that.
Correct. And it's also sometimes difficult for members of the military to talk to civilians about what maybe they have done. And so those conversations are difficult to have. And I would love to be able to give access to more resources for things like that. And I think that's where the the VFW is one of the things that are really key, because it gives veterans a place to go, hang out with buddies who have seen war or whatever the case may be, and actually have those conversations with people who understand, and then be able to be resources for them. And so I would love to be able to expand access to quality care like that.
That's great. Right. And then protecting our water quality and environment, share what you plan to do in this area. It's very, the region you have.
Yes.
We're all water.
So water quality on Long Island is very unique too, because you've got the North Fork that doesn't want to actually have Suffolk County Water come in and actually give them provide piped water, because they are afraid. Well, they're afraid that that's going to cause more housing to be built.
Interesting.
So it's a unique situation, and there's a lot of
because they're where the water credits.
Correct. Yeah, and there's a lot of lot of plumes that from whether it was from some of the research that has been done on the North Shore that are causing high levels of cancer. I spoke with Suffolk County Water, some members from there, and they explained to me how very over the top that they make sure that our water quality here is very good. And so making sure that that continues as it is really going to be key. I mean, water is everything. On Long Island. And I'm actually proud to say I think that Suffolk County Water does a very good job to make sure that we do have clean drinking water, the ones that they provide too. And they are very proud of that too. They go above and beyond to make sure that we do have safe drinking water. And I would be willing to help on the federal level in anything that they would need to make sure we continue to do that. And we spoke about kind of our coastline erosion earlier, right? Our storms are getting worse, and we're still having bridges and tunnels get washed away, and our beaches are eroding. So if we can get more federal dollars here to make sure that we are prepared for the next storm is going to be a key factor. Yeah,
definitely. And then our residents, they're having trouble accessing a good assortment of homeowner insurance policies because of the floods and stuff.
That is a huge problem.
Yeah, it's very limited now.
I don't understand how an insurance company can say, no, we're just not going to cover you because now you're in a flood zone. I mean, after Hurricane Sandy,
even without being in a flood zone, even if you're on a hill,
yes,
with these torrential rains, you get trees and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I could chat. Let me tell you.
I know, and it's already 11:52. So
I'm just saying, you guys know. So I am really restraining myself here. Okay, Long Island faces challenges from, we did the coastal erosion, federal resources. Okay, transportation and infrastructure. What specific transportation projects in Huntington and the surrounding communities would you prioritize in Congress, and how would you help secure funding for them? Examples are downtown revitalization, pedestrian safety, infrastructure upgrades, local bus transit improvements. By the way, I'm a huge fan of my sewers. Just saying. I have to say that. I'm loving my sewers that are coming.
Yeah, I mean,
which was a federal, state, county, town partnership.
Correct.
To be able to pull that off.
I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's going to be making sure that we work with our local government officials to see what it is that they need and what we can bring here. But bringing federal dollars here again to upgrade our infrastructure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not only Long Island that is really having infrastructure problems. It is a national issue.
Yeah.
And I mean, we just see it's just aging.
Yeah.
Nothing has been upgraded in years.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of our bridges are probably well past their lifespan. A lot of our roadways, I mean, the amount of flat tires that I've had since after the snowstorm, I'm like, it's been a struggle.
Yeah.
But making sure that we can actually get federal dollars here to make sure that we can have those resources, and working with local officials to see exactly what each part of our town or communities might need.
Right.
I'm ready and willing to.
That's
work
great.
with our local officials.
And the highway departments too would be great,
absolutely.
Because I don't know if other towns run this way, but town of Huntington Highway Department is independent of the town, but so they can get their own direct funding, right? So federal government could bless them abundantly aside from the town with some funds to repave our roads.
Yeah, I mean, repaving our roads is
expensive.
It is expensive, and it is something that is affecting us. I mean, every time we have been lucky over the last couple winters to not have to have mild winters.
Right.
And I love the snow, so I was very happy that we had snow this year. But most people are not.
Yep.
But the problem with the snowstorms that we have is the plows,
Mm-hmm.
and they dig up our streets. And then now that the heat is starting to warp a lot of our streets, particularly like we see these concrete roads,
Mm-hmm.
You just see craters in the middle of the highway
Yeah.
that, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't tell you, I lost a couple tires. So
Yeah. And the New York Avenue
it's
bit in
not cheap.
Huntington Station, guys, has nothing to do with Andre. It's because of the sewers, because they're getting dug up every night. They will be paved when it's done. So it's okay. All right. Foreign policy. What are the biggest national security threats facing our country, and how would you address them? That's only this big of a question. I mean, I don't know.
Actually, I would think out of all these questions, that's probably one of the largest questions.
I understand, but we
Um,
give it very broad.
Yeah.
So
And so when we talk about our national security,
right.
it is really important.
Yeah.
Making sure that our allies remain our allies, and we don't alienate them. I've worked with coalition partners around the globe, and on my last deployment. And right now, the way we look to the rest of the world
Mm-hmm.
is not in good light.
Mm.
When we talk about our allies who are looking at America, we were always the shining star. I mean, since
Right.
World War II, we've always been the leader
Right.
in making sure that of global security.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, we're not that leader.
Hmm.
We need to make sure that we plus up or make sure that our allies, our allied relationships are strengthened.
Okay.
And then also making sure that countries like Russia and China aren't overstepping, particularly when we look at the war in Ukraine, where they just think that they can walk into
Yeah.
Ukraine and just take land. We give them an inch, they're going to take a mile.
Mm-hmm.
That is a big fundamental issue. And also, if we looked at it, renaming the Department of Defense to the Department of War was any indicator as to how we were going to be moving forward.
Okay.
I mean, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody wants war.
Mm.
This war that we've had with Iran has cost us billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do we get out of it? At the end of the day, you're paying a whole lot more for gas in your car, probably twice as much as you were paying a couple months ago. These are concerns that I think Americans have right now. We've spent billions of dollars. The national debt is continuing to climb exponentially. We've lost service members.
Right.
These are just concerns that I think on the national security scale, make sure that we have Congress act as appropriate,
Right.
and make sure that we have three branches of government that are respected.
Mm. Okay. Very good. All right. In closing, if elected, what are 3 specific things you hope Huntington residents will be able to point to 4 years from now and say, this happened because our representative delivered for Long Island? That's a good one too, right?
Yeah, it's well. There's so many things.
It's the last one.
I know there's so many things that really could be.
It's like your wild card.
Yeah. I just think at the end of the day, I can be a representative that constituents feel like they can go to. I want to restore faith in our government again. It's going to take a lot. And I think if people can feel more secure with the people who are representing them, that everything else starts to fall in line and to actually get better.
Yeah.
So restoring that faith in our government is something that's going to be key, aside from fixing the affordability crisis, which is a huge issue.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when prices go
And
up,
have
they
to
just,
do it as a team.
Yeah.
That has to be.
right. When prices go up, they never come down. But at least if we can slow that,
Right.
that is a key issue. But I think one of the important things that residents here want is they want a representative that they can go to, actually have conversations with, and feel like they're being heard. And then at the end of the day, have somebody in Congress who's going to fight for them.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you. Did we cover everything that you wanted to talk about?
I think so.
I think that's pretty thorough,
very
right?
Good. It was very good. I appreciate
Pretty
it.
thorough.
Yes.
All right, great. So in closing, guys, every vote counts, especially yours. Whether you vote or not, someone will be elected to make decisions that affect your daily life. So get to know your choices on the ballot and decide what matters the most to you and your family. Then get out and vote. A special thank you to Laura Palacios at American Investment Planners for generously hosting us in her beautiful Huntington office and helping make these candidate interviews possible. The primary election day is June 23rd, 2026. Early voting is already in process, and it'll take place from the 13th through the 21st. Make a plan to vote, definitely. Make sure your voter registration and party enrollment are up to date. And you can find this interview and the additional candidate interviews, election information, links to look up who your congressperson is, and links to the candidates' campaign websites at huntingtonmatters.com. Thank you for joining Huntington Matters candidate interview, and we will see you at the polls.